Welcome back, guys, to another episode. And today we are going to be working on the Double Guardian Farm. Very, very cool stuff. Still a lot of work to do, as you can see, but we're gonna get started and maybe finish it. Well, I don't know how long it's gonna take. I don't have like a estimation in my head. But first, I kind of want to talk about some things I did between last episode and today, and that is to clean out the rest of the sand that we used to drain the ocean water. That is all gone, and this circle is fully open for the first time, which is crazy. It kind of puts into perspective just how big this place is. Walking from one side to the other. A few other things is I've started to replace some dirt with glowstone in the floor to keep this place lit up at night so it's safe to work. And it also kind of looks pretty cool having the floor glow. And I've started to move a lot of my junk down from that platform and over here into some double chests in preparation to uh, basically we're gonna nuke my starter base up there. Not the glass platform, but everything underneath it needs to come out probably in today's episode as we start to connect to the Guardian farms, because that glass platform signifies where we're gonna be building like the AFK room. But if I come over here, yeah. Oh, I also got a Shulker preview data pack working, which is really cool because I have a lot of Shulker boxes in my world, so it's nice to be able to just hover over them and see what's inside. But this middle double chest, all gravel. This upper double chest is all the sand I took down, and I even needed an extra chest to store it all, which is kind of crazy. And I've also brought over some other shulkers from my nether that I had for like building blocks and dyes, because I probably want to use some blues and cyans and maybe some black and gray for like terracotta or concrete. Haven't been or super decided on a palette for building yet. So the farms are probably going to be made out of some like bare bones material like grass and some building block like black concrete is usually what I go to, as you saw at the witch farm, but maybe we'll decorate around them afterwards. One other thing I want to get to today, though, if we have time, is after we remove some of this prismarine, or all of this prismarine actually, I want to start to build the foundation, or at least outline it, for this center tower. It's something I kind of touched on last episode, where my goal is to build the farms and get a center tower to uh, start this area, and then around it, I'm going to have a lot of little buildings with different farms, AFK farms in them. But I want to get this mapped out so I know how big it's gonna be and how much room I have to work with. I think that's plenty of rambling. Let me get started on some of this teardown and maybe some building, and I'll update you guys in a little bit. Alrighty, guys, it has been quite a bit of time since that last clip, and I have a lot to update you on. First of all, some administrative stuff, because you'll probably notice the game looks a little bit different. I was running on Optifine for version 1.20.1, but in order to get the Shulker preview pack to work, I had to update to 1.20.4, and then I got rid of it. So I'm on Minecraft version 1.20.4 now instead of 1.20.1, and I'm no longer using Optifine. I'm using, I think, Sodium. I'm using Indium and Continuity, something along that line. Yeah, I'm using those three mods for performance and texture stitching. Like you can see the glass behind me for the perimeter. Usually the lines with each block will show, but with one of the mods, it gets rid of them and does a little bit of stitching, so it's like smooth, which I like that look a lot more for this wall than if we didn't have it. But yeah, I noticed the game runs a lot smoother with Sodium than it does with Optifine. So I'm probably going to be sticking with sodium moving forward. And I also got rid of my texture pack. It had some problem with the Shulker preview data pack we were using, and like some of the textures were like glitched, and I didn't like that. So I got rid of it. I'm just gonna go default for now, and I got rid of the Shulker preview data pack. So there is a nice fabric mod. It's really lightweight, and it just does the same thing. It will, if I hold shift, you guys can see I can switch between the preview and just the regular list of blocks beneath it, and I like this a lot more. So yep, I have those 4 performance mods, and or I guess 3 performance mod and that 1 quality of life mod for the Shulkers. And as you guys can see, I've had my Shulker chest or Shulker monster over here grow significantly since the last time you saw me. Moving on though, so let's talk about the Guardian farm. So some cleaning I did up around here, as you can see, that centerpiece. That I think the centerpiece is actually ready to come down completely. I think I'm using up the last bit of coal in these furnaces to smelt some glass, and then this is all the glass I have now. And I'm not going to use it for the perimeter just yet. I have a few farms I want to build, but I wanted to make sure I have enough glass for the Guardian farm, and I'm tempted to make some squid farms down there on the other monument in between episodes, but anything left over will go to the perimeter. But yeah, this is all torn down. The dirt circle outline I had for the longest time, that's finally come down because we have no more use for it, and it feels really nice. This place is really starting to, look complete other than the sand outline. Once we get that done, it'll be at least what I considered like done. Like it's prepped, it's ready for building like 100%, and we can really just focus on filling up the interior with the farms we want to create. I do have some other farms created. I found a bamboo jungle. I got some oak trees. That's what I'm farming currently is the oak for what I plan to build up at the Guardian farm. And speaking of the Guardian farm, let's go over to it. Yeah, so something I like to do with my world here is whenever I create a backup, I like to take a copy of it and turn it into basically a creative testing world so that it's up to date with what I'm currently doing in survival, and it allows me to really test out farm designs or maybe different building ideas that I have for whatever area I'm working in at the moment. And that's what I did with the Guardian farms. I loaded this up with this all drained, all the sand taken out, and I built 2 different farm designs, one on the Guardian platform over there, and the second one that you see here on this Guardian platform. And I basically sat in the center and went AFK just to test rates, and I also wanted to test the idea I had for piping the Guardians to the center of the circle for that double EXP farm idea that I had. It didn't work out though. The rates that I got when I sat AFK in the center were really bad. Even though I thought it was a decent ways away, I still got really bad spawn rates. And then 2, probably the most important thing I learned from this is you don't want to have the Guardians swim through more water than you need to. Or you don't want to transfer the Guardians with water more than you need to, because the more water you use to move them, the more they're going to swim against the current and fight it. And so if you have a lot of water, that means that they're going to, like this guy, you see he's fighting against the current not to go into the portal. And this is like the minimal amount of water you need essentially, because this is the rectangle that they spawn in, they get shot up and then they get pushed over. So I don't know if you can really decrease this unless you decrease the size of this rectangle, which, who knows, maybe a slightly smaller rectangle, but more of them is more efficient than fewer larger ones. But honestly, this farm already works fast enough, so I'm not bothered to change it right now. But yeah, so sadly the double Guardian farm is not gonna work. But as I said, that this guy is fast enough, and he, gives me all the experience I need, which is good, because something else I forgot to mention was that while upgrading from 1.20.1 to 1.20.4, it actually broke my Enderman farm. The AI in the Enderman must have changed or something, because they couldn't reach the Endermite before in that design, And when I went back there recently to repair some shovels, I found the Endermite dead, and so I replaced it, and then they just killed it right away again. So I figured it must be something with the version change is what caused them to do that and break that farm, which is sad, but I was really close to finishing this and didn't cause much of a problem. But yeah, so this design is kind of a hybrid. I used a couple of different designs I found online and kind of did what worked best for me, because if you guys recognize, there is a popular design that uses two of these rectangles, and then it uses water streams to pipe them down the sides the long way and then towards the center, and then it just drops them down a 2x2 hole beneath the containers. Whereas here I connected them with portals, and I used ENX4's portal design right up there. He had a different collection system down here on the monument. Actually, his doesn't require you to drain any water at all, but since I already had all this drained, I figured I would build this part down here differently. But yeah, basically these four portals are connected in the nether, and then it goes up here. They spit out this portal and come down here to this collection point. So let me stand up here real quick, and you guys can see them spawning, and soon they're gonna start coming through the portal. There is a change I'm gonna make. So there is a hopper clock in the nether, and I'll show it in a little bit, and maybe we'll even do the change together. But there's a hopper clock that controls fence gates, and I believe it controls the rate at which they're allowed. Oop, I stepped on the pressure plate. I believe it controls the rate at which they're allowed through the nether portal, and that is a change we're gonna make. So as you guys can see, it's coming in a huge wave, and that's that hopper clock. It's gonna continuously let them through, and then it's gonna stop, and then it's gonna let another wave through. And let me just come through here and kill these guys real quick. But yeah, this has a lot of EXP. I'm very happy with this. I should not need another EXP farm for ever, actually. I don't know if I'll ever need more EXP in a moment, like, than this can provide. Yeah, here they start coming through again. I don't have a collection system built, so I'm just gonna drop all that for now. I also moved my main portal to get into the Guardian base. I think I moved it closer to the pad by a little bit, and then it also caused me... Yeah, I'm gonna go back through real quick, but that's why you'll see the nether portal on the ground over here. It got moved to this monument platform because if I had it in the center, two of the Guardian, I guess, spawning rectangles over there would connect to it, causing half of them to appear on the roof of the nether and the other half to get linked up properly and fall into the killing chamber. So whenever I came through this portal in my creative backup, this whole area would be filled with guardians, and I did not want that. Yeah, this is the ENX4's design for how to get them from the overworld to, I guess, back to the overworld through the nether. We're actually just going to disconnect this clock. I'll leave it running up here, and we're going to clear out... Let me see if I can do this right. I don't want to lose any of these blocks. I didn't bring too many blocks to replace them. We're actually going to clear out these fence gates. Ooh. I saw the scaffolding. And just replace it with scaffolding. There we go. And what this allows us to do is, instead of a slow stream, or not slow stream, a clock kind of stream, right? So like 30 fall through, and then it's silent for a little bit, and then another 30 of them fall through. This is going to allow for a steady stream of them to come through the portal. I don't have any more carpets. And I prefer that more because through testing, what I found was with the clock setup, I would cap out at about 100, but as we'll see when I go through and go back to the farm, I found that I could get around 140 of them in there, which is about another wave of 30 more than with the hopper clock. And while it doesn't look as fancy as, a ton of them coming out at once, because I do admit that looks cool, it takes about the same amount of time for us to get a little bit more. So it is a little bit better. And this is a single player world, so I don't have to worry about ruining the performance of the world for anybody else. And so yeah, I'm opting to basically disconnect that clock. But I'm going to stand AFK for a couple minutes and let's see how many we get. Maybe I have a little bit more testing to do. I sat here for a little bit, and we capped out at about 70 without the fence gates in the nether portion of this. And so I went back into the nether. I added the fence gates back, hooked them up to the clock, and we're sitting at about 100 now after a minute and a half, which is really good. That's already really really good. But I need to see why in my creative world I was able to get over 140 of them and like past that 100 cap. So right now we have 105, and as you can see below us, no more are spawning in the containers. And if I were to go in here, oh, that is so satisfying. That's another thing I like about this farm, is that it's just so much EXP that you can get right off the bat. Oh, if I look below us, you guys can see that there are plenty more spawning now that we cleared out up here. I may have been like reading some of the dropped items as entities, because I believe these show up, right? Yeah. So that might have been it. You'll see that is that's that's one entity right there. So a stack of items, even though there's about like a couple items in there, they've read it as one entity. So maybe since like, you know, you can get a lot of drops from this farm, maybe in the creative world I had a lot of drops on the ground because I wasn't caring about picking it all up. Yeah, that about wraps it up for the farm. It is built. There is one thing I'm gonna do left in this episode, and that is I'm gonna try to decorate it a little bit. So I do have a habit of building stuff and then not completing it, and it's something I want to fix. I don't want to leave you guys hanging with a bunch of like skeletal farms all over the place. I do want to try to make them pretty, and I have an idea. I've been experimenting with, you know, different build like palettes or block palettes, and I think I've settled on one that I like. And it's not done, but you know, I figured I could finish the rest of it in survival, and so that's what I've been working on now, is just gathering resources and making sure I have more than enough so I can just, you know, start building and wrap it up. So I have some nether wood. Let me see what else. I have a lot of oak wood, and I need a way more. As you guys can see, I'm growing a lot of trees. And I believe I need way more gray concrete too. That is not enough. Alrighty, so I've gotten a little bit of the building done on the Guardian farm, but it turns out I need a lot more materials than I originally gathered, and I've already gathered plenty more, and I still need more. So this might have to finish up next episode, or in between episodes. I'll give you guys an update in the next one. But this is what we've gotten done so far. It sort of looks like a flying saucer shape, but I kind of wanted to go more like brutalist, or maybe like high tech futuristic look to it. I don't know. I really like the glowing beam in the center. Although there's no roof on this yet, but it's gonna be kind of a circles that kind of build up a little bit. I have to have it reach over the killing chamber for the guardians, but I don't want to have it be like a dome. I don't like the look of that. But yeah, so this is what I have so far. I have the floor out of the beehives, and I'm kind of using what I think mud and the dark prismarine, and hopefully oxidized copper. I didn't like let this sit out and oxidize. I kind of just put it on the build because I'm gonna be spending a lot of time here. It's an EXP farm, so it's gonna oxidize slowly over time, which is totally fine. And I have some of the item filters in place, or not some, all. This should be all. And if I need more, I can do shulker storage in the bottom of these. That'll be plenty. But yeah, I'm actually really liking how this is turning out. I do have a little bit, not a little bit actually, I have a lot of detailing to do inside of here. And also, I gotta hide all this stuff back here. But yeah, I got a lot of resource collecting to do. I think I'm gonna hide shroom lights under carpets, and I'm gonna go with like I think brown carpets will look pretty good. And yeah, imagine that's like the weathered blue look, or not weathered, the oxidized, completely oxidized blue look, because I think that really highlights the dark prismarine and the mud blocks really well, and so I'm excited for that. But yeah, let me fly around one more time. There you go. You guys kind of see the circular shape now. I'm gonna move that beacon. That'll be gone by next episode. But I think what actually took the longest time was I realized I needed a way to switch this farm off, or at least switch the portals off, because as I was up there building, A ton of them just kept coming down and spawning, and especially in the beginning when I was trying to build out that initial platform, they kept like shooting me with their lasers, and it was getting annoying. So that's what I came down here to design something which I really like how this works, and it's better than my original implementation, which was I was gonna do sticky pistons that would push glass down right on that last water stream block, but that wouldn't have worked because it would have killed that water stream. Like the when the pistons retracted, the water would not have flown again, which means there would be this now dead space in the farm where the guardians weren't getting pushed into the portals. I mean, some would still get pushed because they would push each other, but it's not the most optimal. So how this works is I basically just have the dispensers, and this middle button is gonna shoot out on a pulse. It's gonna pulse these first ones right here, and they have water buckets in them to break the portals. And I think I can actually do a little bit if I press this. There you go. I might have been a bit loud. I apologize. But as you can see, all portals are broken. They're still gonna spawn, but they'll cap out and spawn rate down here. And then when I'm ready for them to, go back and turn this thing on and go into the nether, I just press this button for this side, which will light those two portals. And I press this button on this side, and it'll light those two. And once I have these scaffolding cleaned up, because I think I'm going to do a little bit of detailing on the bottom of this circle, so I'm leaving it there for now. But once I break those down, I'm probably going to merge this in the center with just two buttons, one for turning it off, one for turning it on. And yeah, I think that's about it. I have to be careful that I don't leave this off too long, because in the nether, I believe it requires the guardians to spawn and go through the portal to keep the hopper clock going. Because the first time I had them off, when I went into the nether, the hopper clock was stopped, and I had to kind of jumpstart that by taking the items out from one hopper, putting it into another hopper, and it was working fine after that. So that is something to keep in mind while if I do turn this on or off. But it's not a huge deal. I think that's about it. Oh, if you do hear zombie noises throughout my future episodes, because I don't know when I'm going to get to these guys, I've already caught 2 zombie villagers, and I have them name tagged in. At least one of them's holding an item. This other guy, he didn't want to pick up an item, I guess. Throw a rock down there. Yeah. He's not big on holding anything. But I have them caught, name tagged. They shouldn't despawn. And I'm just waiting for wherever I decide to build my base. I'm also going to do, villager trading hall and all that. And they're like, those two are going to be the start of it, because, we're very far out, and chance putting villages here in the middle of the ocean, it's not fun. So I'd rather just cure those two, make a breeder, and then go through the process with that. I do want to make a small comment though, guys. If you notice any changes in the audio and even the video, I am experimenting with a lot of settings constantly. And, this episode took over a week to make because I just, playing a lot and gathering the resources and doing the building and stuff in survival. So it did take a bit of time. And throughout that week, I was constantly changing, the placement of my microphone, some audio settings, even some video settings in that. And so stick with me as I try to find my, what I settle in with, and find my stride with it. I did notice, though, a lot of my audio in the first 2 episodes and the beginning of this episode has like a staticky background that I've been able to remove through Premiere. And I noticed that's because I was using my mic completely wrong. So my mic is positioned right, so hopefully the audio sounds better, and I don't have to do any funky stuff with cleaning it up and also adding gain and whatnot. So I believe my audio should be a lot better. So if you stuck with me, thank you. And from here on out, it should be cleaner. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm gonna start working on the next one, and I'll see you there.